Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Probe Dental podcast. We're joined today by Amit Jilka from Abbey House Dental. He was the 2023 Dentist of the Year at the Dental Awards. Amit, thank you for joining us, first of all. And how has your year been? It's been almost 12 months since you found out that you'd won the award and picked it up from us at the Ivy in London.
Yeah, I don't know where the last year's gone. I think as you get older, each year goes faster and faster, doesn't it? So I'm approaching my 40th birthday this year. So as I'm getting older, I think time's flying by.
No, it absolutely does. I mean, as we're recording this, we've just entered May, and it feels like New Year was just a few weeks ago. Um, I mean, looking back, kind of over the past 12 months, I mean, has much changed? I know obviously you had big plans for Abbey House Dental when we met you last year. I mean, what have you been up to? What has changed?
Yeah, so I think we got the award in May, and then from May onwards, well, at the time we were still working on building a new squat practice in the heart of Stoke-on-Trent, and that opened in August of 2023. And that was a 5 surgery practice with the top floor with conference facilities. So at the same time as opening the dental practice, we opened up our own Abbey House Dental Academy. And the academy has had a number of courses now related to implant growth and Invisalign growth in particular. And then we also, in the background, got approval from the National Examining Board to hold our own in-house dental nursing course. And why that means a lot to us is as our team's gone above 100, recruiting dental nurses in Staffordshire's becoming more and more difficult. So this will mean that we can train nurses from school leavers to become dental nurses, but also the local practices that are really struggling to recruit dental nurses in the area can also send people on the course here, and we can train them, and then they can sit the exam and become dental nurses. So it's kind of filling in the void for us as a practice, but also filling in the void for the local dental practices as well.
So it's kind of obviously has a benefit for yourself, but it's also giving back to the local community in a sense.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the thing about Staffordshire is that recruitment's the biggest issue. You know, we're halfway between Manchester and Birmingham, and there doesn't seem to be many colleges to train people here. So it's harder to get dentists to come. So most of our dentists actually come from either Manchester or Birmingham. There's very few that live within the local area of Staffordshire.
Right. Okay. So obviously that's. Would you say it's almost like one of the dental deserts you kind of hear about where you are, or is that kind of a bit unfair?
I would say it's a little. It's kind of we're not a desert completely, but it's kind of halfway between the two. So we're not that bad because there are dentists there and people can commute, but it is harder definitely. But we're definitely not struggling compared to places like North England and South England.
Okay. So I know education's very important to you. You do a lot of mentoring as well. How did you get into mentoring and kind of that educational side to begin with, and what satisfaction does that bring?
Yeah, well, I've been doing dental implants for over 10 years and sedation for even longer than that. And those are the two areas that I've kind of continued to mentor on. And I think I had such great mentors for both those treatments. And as the practice grew and I was getting more and more dentists to work for us, they wanted to be involved in some of the treatments that I was doing. And rather than saying no, which what a lot of principals do is say, no, I do the implants, I do the sedation, refer to me. My mindset was that, how can I stop an associate from growing? I want to be part of their journey. And so then I became quite passionate at growing the associates. So mentoring then became a passion, and it's now become pretty much, my 90% job clinically is just mentoring, and that's for dental implants from simple cases all the way up to full arches and sinus lifts, and then IV sedation and RA sedation as well. So we've probably trained about 20 people in IV sedation just in our practice alone, and about 10 clinicians for implants.
Wow. So does it allow you to kind of almost like spread the skills you've learned kind of wider as such, kind of spread the net?
Yeah, exactly. I think it's meant that I can take a step back because I've got other clinicians that can do what I can do. But also, some of those clinicians, become their own and they go on to different training pathways to do different things that even I couldn't do. So we've got some clinicians now that can do treatments that, I've never been a big fan of composite bonding and never really got into that. And I was always doing a lot of smart makeovers with veneers and crowns, and now composite bonding is such a big thing. I've got a number of clinicians that have trained in that, so they can now treat a patient in terms of a smile makeover from composite bonding all the way up to full arch implants. And I think that is phenomenal, and it means I can take a step back as an owner, but also keep pushing them and helping them to grow in the right direction.
Excellent. I mean, talking back, going back to kind of pathways, training pathways. I wanted to ask about your master's degree. So you did that out in Rome. Could you tell us a bit about what you studied and kind of whether it was a unique experience, sort of going over to Italy?
Yeah, it was probably the worst time to do it because it was COVID, and there was a lot of COVID restrictions, and the majority of that MSc was the masters was meant to be held in Italy, and because it's an international degree, it you had to. A lot of countries were restricted from coming, so they did kind of a blended approach in that we did a lot of online lectures, but we also went to rather than going to Italy, we spent a few weeks in Albania, of all places, and that's where there was no restrictions for COVID at the time. So everybody around the world could kind of meet in Albania. All the lecturers from Italy came, and we effectively had quite a few weeks there. And then we did as the restrictions was kind of lifted, we started to do more stuff in Italy, and we had the surgical days there, the cadaver days there. Um, and I think it was just nice to do because I'd done a lot of British courses. I'd done, you know, the RCS diploma. I went through that process, and I've done a lot of other UK-based courses. I think it was just something nice to do something very different with, implantologists from around the world that do things in a very different way. And a number of things that I'd say is that they're kind of ahead of us in terms of the amount of implants they place in. Countries like France and Italy place significantly more per population than we do. So they are kind of at the forefront of some of the treatments, and their routine treatments are immediacy in implants and placing implants. And here it's not as mainstream. It's becoming more mainstream, I'd say, in the last 2 years, but over there it's more common. The use of lasers is quite common there as well. So I think it was just good to just do a degree that was completely away from the UK and just to see what the world has to offer, but also to be able to form connections with people from Dubai, Norway. We had a couple of guys from Canada, India, and France. So just speaking to all of these people on the courses and learning from what they're doing was, I think, a really enhancing experience for my implant journey.
I imagine it's a great way to kind of escape the UK bubble.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think we all are following what the kind of celebrity implant dentists are doing here, and then you realise over there there's different celebrities as such, and they're doing things in a completely different way. So I think it just opens up your mind to showing you what's out there.
Perfect. So would you recommend kind of doing something similar to anybody else watching? Any other dentists? Any other dental professionals as a whole?
Yeah, I think because we are obviously in the UK, I think it's always good to start your foundation training in the UK, and doing courses within the UK initially, so that you learn the mindset of a UK implantologist. But going forward, it is good to just get out there and do a couple of courses in America and Europe and other countries just to see what's there.
Excellent. I wanted to ask as well. So when we met you last year, it became very apparent very quickly. Just kind of there's a real family feel to your team. I think part of that is because part of your team is your family. I mean, how does that lend itself to your work environment? Does that also kind of rub off on other colleagues and the people you're mentoring? Does it kind of what's the atmosphere like at Abbey House?
Yeah, the atmosphere, the culture, and the people is critical to how we've grown over the years. And me and my wife have ran the practice as a family practice for so many years. So we form very personal connections with our staff, and the majority of our staff stay with us. So we have a very low staff turnover, and it's almost become a joke within our practice that there's another mini Amit walking around, and some of the dentists talk like me, speak like me, and motivate the other dentists to do stuff. And then my managers are walking around as if it's Amit, but they're not me, and they speak like me. And so I think it's all kind of come from our level, and we've been so open about who we are that it almost rubs off on them. And so it almost becomes a family environment because we're all on the same page. There are obviously times when you find that someone's not clicking with the team, and they could be really exceptional at their job within our practice in the field that they're in, but they're not clicking and they're not kind of gelling with what we are and what we're about, and they don't tend to last at the practice, sadly. But you find that those type of characters do very well in another practice. So that family environment, we're very much, and the people and culture are so critical to this that we don't really allow people that don't gel with us to stay too long as well. So it is a bit harsh as well, but it's got us to where we are today, which is in a position where we've got over 110 staff now.
I think that's something that goes on kind of underappreciated in all areas of business, really, though, is kind of that culture and the team fit. Obviously, you can have all of the experience in the world, but I think at the end of the day, experience can often be taught. Whereas, like you say, kind of whether you're going to fit into the team, whether you have the right sort of mindset to gel with the rest of the team, it's different people, kind of different strokes, different folks. It's yeah.
Well, this is it. I think
Right.
just having that trust between each other is critical. If you don't have the trust, then it doesn't matter how good you are as a clinician. It doesn't matter how good you are as a manager. If you can't trust that person, then it'll never work. And so yeah, we have lost some really amazing team members that just not gelled with us, as a practice. But then you follow them, and we never leave on bad terms with these characters. And you follow them up in a few years, and they're flying within their smaller practices. But and that was the right move for them. So I'm always happy to kind of make that decision and go, I think you're going to grow better elsewhere.
Absolutely, and it's very
Yeah.
refreshing to hear as well. Actually, I mean, I also wanted to ask. So we're just a few weeks out now from the Dental Awards 2024 announcement on the 23rd of May. Do you have any kind of advice or just kind of anything you'd like to say, really, to those who are waiting to find out whether they've won this year?
Yeah, we didn't apply this year because we felt we'd applied for so many last year. So I just wish everyone all the best. I think it's a privilege to even be a finalist. The probe judges, and we were grateful to meet all the judges on when we picked up the award, are really serious and take their job very, very seriously. And it was nice to see that these were characters that are within the profession, that are almost unsung heroes, that you don't know these judges. They're not, superstars in terms of the celebrity dental world. They are genuine people that care about dentistry and have real emotion. So the fact that they're choosing who's winning, to me, goes a significantly long way. So if you are chosen just to be a finalist, just know that you've been through a thorough process, and the judges are true judges. They are choosing you on your true merits. And I think it's probably the most fairest award system I've seen, that we've ever applied for. And then if you are the winner, you know, it's such a nice feeling for you, your team, and everybody around you, and just make the most of it.
Excellent. No, well, thank you very much for your words, and I'll make sure they get passed on to the judges because the judges as well, volunteer. So it's they really do, as you say, care. They're very passionate about dentistry as a whole, and they do take it very seriously as well. The awards process. So yeah, no, thank you very much for.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys choose. I don't know how you guys choose your judges, but it just seems that they are genuinely so passionate about it, and it's not putting the other awards down, but it's to say that it almost seems like the bigger Instagram followers you have, the more likely you'll be a judge, rather than based on sometimes merit. So it feels like the pro judges seem to be, more of merit.
That's it. I feel like
That's
it's.
not putting the other judges down to the other awards.
So I feel
But I
like
would be biased because I won the pro.
well, I'm probably biased too, but they've been I believe the panel's been built up over quite a number of years, way before my time even. So some of them have been around for quite a while, and were kind of very well renowned even back in the day. So more so now, but brilliant. No, thank you very much, Amit. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Kind of, as I say, just it feels like there's so much we could talk about. Appreciate you're very busy, but I mean, kind of anything else you'd like
Yeah, no, I think it was just to kind of just be thank to you guys for winning the award, and thank you for letting me share my journey with you. The focus over for us at the moment, for me personally, is we're kind of hosting a lot of implant growth days. So we have dentists coming in who want to grow their implant numbers, and we train them in our Abbey House dental workflows on how to get your implant numbers up, and that course seems to be a lot of demand for that course. And so if there are any implantologists out there that feel like they've kind of hit a brick wall in terms of their growth, do look us up, and do come on one of our courses, and I'll promise you that we'll work with you to get your numbers up.
Fantastic. Well, we can include a link in the episode description as well, so anybody listening or watching, scroll down and find that. But no, thank you very much, Amit. As I say, it's been
that'd be nice
to you, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, thank you, James.